So I'm preparing the front panel for the shower here, and I've cut and measured that to size, and I've also just using the jigsaw really, I've cut out the hole for the door, and over here I've cut out a little hole for an inspection hatch behind the toilet where all the pipework and everything is. So that's not for the cassette to come out, because that goes out through the side of the van. This is just purely an access hatch to access the plumbing and everything inside, should I need to. Right, so next thing I'm going to do is I put some masking tape on here on what is going to be the inside. I need to offer this in position and draw a line around the shower tray and the toilet, so I know where my UPVC waterproof cladding needs to go. So let me lift that in and do that now. Okay, so I've got it offered into position, and on this corner I just put a little piece of scrap trim in there just to hold it you know, pretty roughly where it's going to be. And yeah, it's not looking too bad. My access hatch down here is will make a lot more sense now, because through here in there, although it's a bit tight, I can get at the plumbing for the shower and the toilet and everything in through there, should there be a problem in the future. So that is going to be spot on to what I want. And young Harry's just putting some more masking tape on here, and then what we're going to do is on the inside here. Right, Harry, if you hold that pen, just sort of squidge back as far as you can. This is not easy to film in such a small confined space, but my blue masking tape now along here is where the shower cubicle is going to be, and also up around the toilet. So Harry, what I want you to do is, if I hang on, let's make sure this is fully pushed home. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, if I push it in and hold it in tight, can you run a pen line along there as tight as possible, along there first. That's it. And then if I just try and push that in as best I can, and let me just get my weight behind it, and then draw a line where the toilet is going to be, as accurate as you can.
There.
Perfect, well done. Okay, so the eagle-eyed will notice that my board now is sitting nice and tight and flush down the bottom here along the shower tray, which is what I want. But I've got a gap in there. Well, that gap there is for a very good reason. Of course, I got my UPVC waterproof cladding to go on here, which will tuck down in there. So the purpose of this line around the toilet is to make sure the cladding just sort of tucks underneath, so that when it's all together, it looks like it goes all the way behind the toilet, even though it necessarily won't. It's just going to tuck in by about an inch or so, all the way around there. Right, so my piece of cladding is now cut to size and is there, ready to go. And here's the piece, and I've fitted the access hatch door. This is obviously from the back, and that has been a right royal pain, that one. It's not my best work by any stretch of the imagination, and all this stuff here is Gorilla Glue. Don't ask about that. I had a bit of a router disaster there, but anyway, from the other side it looks all hunky-dory, and of course this is all on the inside and you won't see any of that. So right, we're ready to get this sheet of cladding on. So one tube of Sikaflex ready to go, and on here I've got my pen line of where the toilet comes to. This pen line is where the cladding comes to, so I need to Sikaflex kind of in here, but no point to go beyond this line, because there isn't going to be anything there. Now I'm only coming halfway across the door, and that is for a very good reason, which will become apparent when I fit it. Oh, and that's that tube out, and then we get another one. Right. Top tip when doing the this sort of thing is, rather than using a new nozzle every time, if you're using the same product, is take the nozzle off the old one and put it on the new one, and then you get a nice surplus of extra nozzles should you need them. Right, let's keep going. Right, okay, so that's had a good couple of hours now to go off. So now I need to router out the door reveal. Routering is far from my favourite thing to do, so wish me luck on this, because if I make a cock of that, it's all starting again, isn't it? But hopefully we'll be okay. Now, because my cladding is on the top and the wood is underneath, I'm using this type of router bit with the roller on the bottom and the cutting blade above. So then when I'm going through, is going to cut the paneling there, and the roller is going to run on the wood underneath. Of course, if I had this the other way round and the panel and the cladding was underneath and the wood was on the top, then I would have to use the opposite way round, with the roller on the top and the cutter underneath. So it is two completely different blades for the different purposes. So if you're doing your own van build, it's quite possible you're going to need both versions of that, as I've had to buy. But that's the one for today. Right, goggles on, because this UPVC is going to probably fly everywhere, and let's give it a go. Wow, it looks like it's been snowing, but hey, it worked, so it's all good. Right, okay, I've flipped it over onto the outside edge now, and I just need to run the slot round for the T-trim, and then I think I'm ready to fit it. Okay, that's not looking too bad. So we got a nice line across the top there, and that edging, T-trim edging I put on is just finishing off that nicely up there. And on the inside now, it will make sense as to why I left one end of this loose, is because once I'm inside, because I put this piece of cladding on first, if I glued all this together, there was no way to screw this. So now I can simply just peel this away slightly to access the holes underneath to screw it together, and then blob some Sikaflex in there and stick it on. That was the plan anyway. And at the back here, not looking too bad. That's in, and one shower cubicle. Well, you know, kind of there, not 100% yet, but it's well on its way, isn't it? And my little access door is going to do the trick just fine. It's a bit tight, but I can get my hand in there to access the pipework and stuff in behind there, and then that will close round, bosh, like that.
1 week later.
Okay, so in the last episode you saw me fitting the front of the shower into place. Since then, what I've done is, let me step into the shower. I've put my T-trim around the door, and also what I did, which for some reason I didn't film it. I'm not quite sure why, so I do apologise for that, but I'm not sure whether you can see here. I just kind of chamfered the edge here of the plastic panelling on using a 45-degree router bit, and now with that T-trim in, that actually sort of finishes off there really nicely around there, and there's no sharp edges, and that's worked out really well, just using the standard knock-in T-trim. And also up on the ceiling, what I've done is I have clad the ceiling up here, because see the original ceiling boards are in there, which are only plywood, so that's no good in a shower. So what I did with this is I packed it out with this fairly thin wood all the way around, and then cut some panels to go in there. Because of the amount of panels that I ordered, I didn't have enough to do it in one piece, so I had to put a join in here using the same strips that are on the ceiling boards. But because it's at the side of the light, you don't really notice that. But that's all good. I've got my edging strips in all the way around, and didn't really have much choice but to screw this bad boy up into position in a few places. But you know, it's up on the ceiling, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And on this edge here, where I'm showing that I could sort of fold that back to get at the screws, obviously that's all screwed together, all Sikaflexed in, and the edging strip is now in, as you can see. I have to admit, I have absolutely zero patience for trying to cut these type of three-way corners on that edging strip, so I've just gone with the little hole motif there, and there's nothing that a thumb full of splodge in there isn't going to sort out when I do the final silicone runs all the way around. So that will be fine. Moving around this way, got my light in, that's all wired in and done. And on the hatch for the micro hecky, the fly screen attachment and everything is on there now. I had to buy a second extension piece, so there's two extension pieces in there. And I now also discovered, as you can see from the little bit of a gap there, that these extension pieces don't actually fit together. So I had to shave and manipulate and faff about with that a little bit. So I've ended up with a little bit of a gap in places, which doesn't look so, you know, quite so great, but you know, up in there, and especially with the fly screen across, which probably you'd have most of the time anyway, it's fine, no problem at all. And of course this is all still internal, so it's not like there's going to be any water problem there. And right, where else have we got to? On the back wall here, there's the sink underneath, which you've already seen. And then up here I've brought the cladding down just a wee bit there. So again, I've got an edging strip up there. Here I've been able to screw it on to hold everything nicely in place, because this is where the mirror is going to go in the little cupboard. So my edging strips here sort of come down and stop there, which is right above where the top of the cupboard is going to be. And I think I'm ready to put that in. Now you will notice, I'm not sure how obvious this is on the video, but the side here comes in very slightly, which has proved a bit of a challenge because that cupboard was perfectly square. So let me show you what I've done. Just go inside. Okay, so there it is, and it's got sort of pop out doors, and you can put stuff inside. Again, this comes from Magnum Motorhomes and is designed to match the sink unit and the toilet underneath, so it's all like a matching set. But what I've had to do here is, using a hot knife, is we've had to chop the side off it. So I've got a piece of edging strip on there already, just to do that front edge there, and then around the bottom here, again there's nothing, a nice bit of splodge around there won't cover up. And on the back here, just to give it some sort of extra strength, because I've lobbed the end off, I've put a piece of timber in the back here, just with some screws on the top, just to give that top a bit of support now, because it's flapping in the wind, so to speak. Right, let me try and offer this in and show you what it looks like. This is not going to be easy with holding the camera as well, but we'll give it a try. Right, the reason why this isn't easy is, of course, it's the full width of the shower room. Right, here we go. Sorry, just oh, hello. You can see what camera I use now, can't you? Right, there we go. Friction itself is holding that in. So what we've got is this side. It's a nice fit on top of the sink unit, and all at the side here, and then across the top there, it just tucks in underneath that strip. And then down this side, that edging strip there, look, will finish that side off nicely. Just needs to be siliconed in, stop it flapping in the wind. Obviously take the green plastic covering off, and underneath here again, you know, that's not looking too bad. And that cut mark, again, there's nothing, a nice little run of silicone around there, isn't going to cover up, is it? My next job is going to be to fix this into position, and then the final bit is going to be to cut a hole up here to get a heating duct in, and then what else are we doing? Oh yes, tambour door. Need to fit the tambour door around here. That's going to be the other job today. And then my part of the shower here is pretty well done. Then it'll be over to wifey with the silicone gun, because she does love a good silicone gun, and she can do all that mucky stuff with the gun that us blokes have no patience for, and usually make a complete hash of it. Right, tambour doors. So what I've done is I've measured and cut the bottom piece, which is down here, not fixed in yet, but that will go in there like so. Just need to glue that in, and I've done the same for the top one, which my assistant Harry is holding for me. And what I'm going to do is that one's going to fix up in there. The tambour door is plenty long enough to go right the way from top to bottom, and actually I'm going to have to trim it to get it to fit. And the bottom one I'm going to glue in using some sealant adhesive, because that's where the main sort of runner action is going to be. But the top one I'm just going to use some sort of fairly long but very small headed screws, and screw that up in, because all I need to do, the black plastic is relatively deep here, look. So all I need to do is allow a couple of mil of clearance on the actual tambour door, so it's not touching the top, and then there'll be some clearance for those screw heads, so it doesn't catch on those screw heads. Well, that's the theory anyway. So let's get this top one on and make a start. Okay, so I've got my bottom piece glued in with some Sikaflex. That's just going off, and at the top here I've got my top piece screwed in all the way around. I actually took that off and redid it, because after some measurements, of course, the van goes downhill this way, so that wasn't going to be very good for the tambour door. So what I've done, as you can see here, is I've put in some white nylon spacers at the front here, there, and a slightly smaller one there to allow for the downhill run. So now we've got pretty much the same gap, or the same height all the way around, give or take a couple of millimeters. So that should be a-okay. So outside I have taken the spare bits off of the tambour door that we don't need to get it the right length, and I've prepped up and marked here my line. So for my particular build I need 186.5 centimeters, and it comes as 2 meters, so we've got a bit to chop off. So I think what I'm going to do is just try the old jigsaw on that and see how we go. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is with this piece that I've discarded, I'm going to chop a bit off this end and see what that looks like and how that works before attacking the main thing, which is 200 pounds. So let me try that first now. So the $1 million question when we turn it over is oh, that's right, look, perfect. Right, let's do it. That gives a nice clean cut there, look, doesn't it? That's all good. Right, marvellous. So what do you reckon then, Harry? First time is the charm, or are we going to need to trim and mess about with it? What do you think?
Mess about with it.
Oh, there's confidence for you, isn't it? No, it's going to fit fine. Right, let's move everything off out of the way and we'll give it a try. Right, okay, so I got the tambour door in. Took a little bit of playing around with, but we got there. And actually up here, because this doesn't go right the way to the end, I deliberately cut that a bit short. I was able to just sort of feed it in from this end rather than have to try and put it on with the bar in situ. So that actually went quite easy. And the $1 million question is, it slides and it fits. Look at that, marvelous. And let me come on the inside and show you what we got up the top here. So you get handles on both sides of the tambour door here, and actually it's quite a nice smooth action. So that will just slide round and clip onto there. So that, I think, is pretty well done. I'm in two minds whether to put a little sort of stopper in the end here for it, to stop you going sort of too far around with the door like that. But the reality is you can just grab it from this end and pull it back. So I think I'm worrying over nothing there with that one, to be honest. And I've got my strip in as well. So the tambour door comes with this aluminium profile here, the strip, and what I've done there is I've built up a little sort of holding piece for it to go onto. And now when it comes round, they touch together and form a nice seal. And what I did with that, actually, to be honest, I just kind of robbed a few things I already had in the garage rather than go and spend more money on extra bits and bobs. And what this is made up of, and hopefully you might agree that actually that looks all right. It's there's a piece of white UPVC in there. I'll say what that is in a minute. an aluminium angle, and the profile on the front that comes with the tambour door. So what I've done there is I've built this up with a piece of cable trunking, no less would you believe, is tucked in the back there, because that of course has a sticky back to it. So once you've stuck that onto this UPVC, that ain't going nowhere. And then a piece of just aluminium right angle Sikaflexed onto the front of that, and then the magnetic strip just screwed onto the front of that with some tiny little screws. So we've got a nice tight line down there, down the side of the T-trim, and from inside here. And yeah, it's all right. Cable trunking's not perhaps the first thing you think of to use, but I had a piece in the garage and I was umming and ahhing and pondering what to use, and hey, there it was right in front of me, and that has done the trick. So and then from the outside, when this comes on, the two magnetic strips grab together and it closes. Yeah, on the outside here you can see those little screws, so I might try and tidy that up a little bit later on, but you know, that's not the end of the world, is it? And from a distance it looks like so. So there we go, tambour door fitted. And I believe that finally is the end of the shower build. It's taken a long time, that, and that's been the bit I've been least looking forward to, I have to say, because I knew that was going to be a bit of a pig. And oh, actually, incidentally, the other thing I've done, look, is up in there you can see the air vent at the top there, and around the back here, what will be in the back of a little thin cupboard here before the beds. I've got my Truma vent coming through underneath the shower tray. I've got a little T-piece there, and it just runs up around the back here and in there, and then down the bottom here I'm going to be able to extend on this way for an outlet into the garage. Now, I know a lot of you are going to go, oh no, you can't put that up there, that's too high, heat rises and that will go straight out the skylight at the top. And well, yeah, but there was two reasons for that. Number one is, on this wall here there's absolutely nowhere else to put it, top to bottom, so my choice was either up there out of the way, or over on this side, because at the end of the day the Truma boiler, of course, is just the other side there. I could have come through here somewhere, but I didn't like the idea of that being down by your feet and the potential for water to go into that pipe, and just because that pipe is only corrugated cardboard at the end of the day, and I didn't like the idea of that potentially getting wet. And if it's cold enough to need the heating on anyway, chances are you're not really going to have the skylight particularly open anyway, other than when you're exactly having the shower. So for the purpose of just drying clothes and things like that when you're in there, I think that's going to be alright. I'm not too worried about that. That seemed a nice logical place to keep it up out the way where it's not going to get wet, and it's not kind of right in your face. So anyway, that's what I've done. Yeah, so there we go. That is the shower build complete at last, and it's time to move on to the next part of the build. So I hope you've enjoyed all that, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.